Good morning. We have a lot of great stuff to get to. First and foremost, finally, the showdown of the century that I've been waiting for. Asmongold finally responding to Kyle Kulinski. Oh, what I would give for a Kyle Kulinski Asmongold debate. Oh, what I would give for the Mold Man to fight Guy Fieri. Please, please. It would be such good content. It would be so good. But how are you guys doing on this Mold Monday? You guys doing okay? You guys doing sick, sleepy, mid, rather moldy? We are going to get rather moldy. Okay, someone link this. Asmongold, nicknamed Eyebrow Razor, wants to stream on, what is it, Billy Billy? I might be pronouncing it wrong. Showcasing his redneck confidence, although I used to criticize Tokyo University, spreading many rumors about China. I've decided to like them now, so let me stream. Is it really Billy Billy? I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Over here, and he's surprised that a lot of people know me in China. Of course they do. So the reason why a lot of them know me is very simple. It's because I play video games a lot, and I play their video games a lot, and they like that I play their games.
Okay, 2 out of 10 joke. Boo, tomato time, get off the stage.
And also, what I think is even funnier is that a lot of my viewpoints on the way video games should be made and the types of things that should and should not be included in video games. You know who agrees with me on that a lot? Chinese people.
I like how there's no source on this at all. There's like there's no source on this at all. It's just like, well, I like big boobs and I think Chinese people do too, so it has to be popular.
They do. The East, yes, they love my opinions over there. They do. Yes, China hates the American left. Well, they have a special word for the American left even. That's the best part about it, is they even have a special word for them. So basically, this has been...
Wait, I want to watch the rest of it.
My history with China, okay? So for a long time, China would watch me because I played WoW. WoW was really big in China. So, okay, everything was fine. Then, obviously, I moved to Final Fantasy. Some of them don't play that over there. And then I made some comments about China that were negative. And I got banned from all Chinese social media. Nobody was posting anything about me on social media, period, in China. They were done with it. And so this had gone on now for like 3 years. 3 years I was blacklisted in China. Then Black Myth Wukong came out. And they said, yeah, he did say that shit about Taiwan, but he really likes this game. All right, bring him back. Bring him back. It's all right. Yep, come on back in. It's okay.
This is probably like top 10 most racist things I've ever heard in my life. Well, I played this one game, and the Chinese people have to like this game, which means they have to like me. How is it racist, though? That you're suggesting that Chinese people will like you if you play games about China, and that's all it takes, and you can be the most vile, moldy piece of shit, and that's fine.
Readmitted back onto Billy Billy, and everybody, yes, we are so back. And so now you have all of these Chinese channels that are reposting my content everywhere. Oh my God, he tried to get away from Asmongold and the place with censored internet, and it didn't work. Yes, that's because people love me in China. They do, and I also play Wuthering Waves, and I think that game's from China too. I played the fuck out of that game. So yeah, that's the way it is, guys.
You do realize the majority of Chinese are conservative, right? Why wouldn't they like Mold Man? Your understanding of politics is so dog shit if you think that American conservatives are exactly the same as Chinese conservatives. You have the brain of a child if you think that.
Would I stream on Billy Billy? Yes, I would. Now, I worry that I could get in trouble because I do say things that are a little bit, a little bit of a situation. So I'm not sure. But if they let me, I would do it. And it's fine. China likes you. I think China's great. I do. I mean, like...
I like how we literally watch videos about the tariffs and him literally shit-talking China. The idea now, it's like, but I love China. I love China. I love everything about China. Everything about China is great. It's like, dude, I can't imagine watching someone whose positions changed on like a dime and then being like, this guy, he gets it. He literally just says whatever the fuck he feels like saying in that exact moment. It doesn't align with anything that he actually believes because he doesn't believe anything.
Yeah, I already made up my mind, guys.
I like how he's literally made fun of China for surveillance state, for arresting people, for its COVID policies. And I like how he's now pretending like he didn't do that. And he's like, that's actually good. That's good. That was good, actually. It's like, dude, oh my God.
And so anyway, yeah, they love it over there. They think this shit's great. They love the videos, right? Plus, they make Asian chicks. They make Asian chicks there, do they? I didn't know that. And so, yeah, Steven Crowder commenting on Asmongold. Oh boy, here we go. Here's another one. All right, let's see it.
No.
Thank God it's over. Oh my God. What the fuck is he talking about? Dude, great fucking question. Great fucking question. What is it with conservatives and Asian women? Well, they subscribe to this ideology that Asian women are so docile. It's just like fetishizing. Unlike our American whores that are terrible in every single way and have a mouth on them. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God, dude. This is so fucking cringe. If white women don't like me, surely Asian girls will. It's like, oh my God, dude, what the fuck? Oh, so you gotta love the China's both super leftist communism, CCP, but also they love Asmongold because they're all conservative. He's literally spent so much of his time talking about how communism China is, and now they're not communism at all. Now they're super, super duper conservative, and they're absolutely, definitely the exact flavor of conservative that America is. It's like, no, dude, they watch our fucking pathetic ass parades and they laugh at us, all right? I'm sorry. We pretend to care about standards. They actually care about standards. Let me find there's that one parade. I want to just give you guys an idea of like what these people think Chinese conservatism looks like and what it actually is. I think it was this one.
It was a really controversial event.
I want to find like the full videos of these people walking with like the squeaking noises of the tank. Not the tank squeaking. They don't got no WD-40, dude. Come on. And the empty bleachers is crazy. Oh my God. It's so sad. It's so pathetic. USA. 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 Oh my God. It's still going. On his face. That's actually fucking incredible. It's like watching a sitcom with no laugh track. I know. All right, I want to find the full part of this VOD, but unfortunately, Asmongold just wears the same fucking shirt every single fucking stream. You guys call me one shirt denims. Meanwhile, this guy actually wears the same exact shirts. Trying to find the VOD where he's talking about it, it's like, oh, okay. At least when I wear the same shirt, I have like 4 of it, and then I actually do my laundry so they're clean. And I rotate like, okay, today it's going to be a black shirt, tomorrow's going to be a red one, tomorrow's going to be a gray one. Shall we mold it up? Oh my God.
I am apparently the dumbest person to him. Here we go. Yes, exactly. So he got his. I don't know. Like, we'll watch it. We'll see what he says.
One of the things that's been driving me crazy more and more lately is when you have people who have large audiences who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but they're just desperate to start giving their political takes and opinions.
Okay.
Because, look, you do a massive disservice. You have this giant audience of people who follow you, and if you're out there...
The disservice is disagreeing.
...spreading false notions of politics, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. The best example of this is fucking Joe Rogan, who doesn't know his ass from his elbow, but he's out there. He was at the inauguration. He gave Trump a softball interview. He gave J.D. Vance a softball interview. But then he'll go on his show and, so, who, me, bro? I'm just like a centrist. I'm like, I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm sort of above the fray and stuff. Like, it's whatever. He tries to do this enlightened centrist bit. Meanwhile, he's like,
I thought this was about me. Let's get to the part about me.
This is a concept that's unheard of for Asmongold and Asmongold viewers. Drawing an analogy to explain your point. Besides saying, everybody knows this, exactly, this is just how it is.
He's a great example of it. But the other one is Asmongold. Asmongold, he's been getting more and more political. And I hear this, I just want to shove my nuts in a waffle iron when I hear this shit. Because, like, what are you saying? What are you saying? You know you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. You know you don't know what you're talking about.
Great.
But he does it anyway. So here he is giving his theory.
Okay, so here, all right, here we go. This is me talking. All right, let's find out.
Thank you so much for the commentary. Just let the fucking video play. Making us watch Asmongold is basically torture. This is against the Geneva Convention. Normally, I would agree with you, but this is us watching Kyle Kulinski make fun of Asmongold, which is like, it's kind of like watching a professional bring in the mold removal, you know? Bring in the mold be gone.
Put upon Republicans. They're just like reacting to what the insane Democrats are doing. I'm not kidding. That's his actual argument. Let's watch.
This is I think it is a unique Democrat problem. Now, when a Republican does something bad, here's the big difference, right? It's not that Republicans don't do anything bad, but when a Republican does something bad, everybody generally says, oh, okay, that's really bad. But the problem is that Democrats look to try to, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't matter that much. Who cares?
I like how just being exhausted by someone's stupidity is he's mad. You gotta love conservatives where they don't actually respond to why someone is annoyed by their comments. They're just like, you can express any emotion and it's like, you're mad. You could be laughing at them and they're like, you're mad. It's like, do you know? I mean, also though, to be fair, there might be a lot of like just social immaturity. I mean, when you look at someone like Asmongold, who has a predominantly, overwhelmingly majority male audience, and their only understanding of emotions is anger. That's the only emotion that they understand. That's the only emotion they express. Everything else is gay. You can't have other emotions. Those are all gay. And then they love to be like, well, actually, it's because of women that I get mad and punch my wall. It's like, okay, dude. All right. Whatever you say. Whatever you say, dog. So maybe it just might be like an emotional like ineptitude, like a shallow understanding of emotions, that they see every emotion. They're like, well, it's not happiness, so you must be angry because those are the only emotions I do.
Oh, he mad.
Now do you understand why I said this made me want to shove my nuts in a waffle iron?
Great argument.
It's almost like he's going to get to the argument if you give him a second.
You know what? I never saw it this way whenever I said it. But now that you say that you want to put your dick in a waffle iron,
nuts.
I completely agree
God,
with you.
how are you so illiterate? Oh my God, he said nuts. He said it twice.
I was wrong. Yeah, I was totally wrong.
Homie literally said,
yes,
when a Republican does something bad, other Republicans could be like, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, generally. I think true. I think it's more true than for Democrats. I'm sure there's exceptions, but I think it's generally true. Yeah.
That might actually be the least true thing I've ever heard in my life. That is somehow the most false thing I've ever heard in my
so the argument is no. Got it.
entire life.
Okay.
Asmongold.
I like how that's Asmongold's. Every time Asmongold makes an argument, it's always, well, I don't think that that's the case. I think this is the case. But when someone else does it to him, he's like, how could you do that to me?
Great argument.
Let me just tell. Let's just go with Elon Musk. What did Elon do when he was running Doge? You guys all know this. How many times have I given you the list?
All right.
He cut pediatric cancer research. Not a single Republican came out. Not a single fucking Republican came out and criticized him for cutting child cancer research.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the research was done in a way that was bad? Like,
literally, look, literally what I said. Only he's allowed to make the argument no. Anyone else makes that argument? It has to be yes. This is also nonsensical too, because Kyle's about to fucking destroy him with he should have pre-watched this video. This is so stupid that he didn't pre-watch it. But Kyle literally talks about how the people that were working on this research were this close to like a crazy breakthrough on like cancer vaccines. And then their funding was cut, so they had to stop. That the research was bad. It's like we literally have ex-Doge employees saying there actually wasn't that much waste, fraud, and abuse. That when we went in to remove the waste, fraud, and abuse, we didn't even fucking find any. Even look at Snap. When you look at Snap, it's like less than 1%. I think it's like in some states, the most it gets to is like 3% on like waste, abuse, and fraud. And also the fraud is overwhelmingly from white people. They always love to be like, well, it's all of these welfare queens that are ruining the system. It's like, no. And also, depending on the state, that number can be even smaller. So for example, I think it's like Mississippi, the number was like sub 1%. I might be wrong on the state. It might have been Missouri. Sub 1% was like funds that were incorrectly distributed. And that very easily could be they incorrectly distributed too much money. That no one committed any fraud. There was no abuse of the system. Someone made a clerical error. So he literally explains it, but because he didn't pre-watch this video, he doesn't understand that he's about to get fucking owned.
Every time that people say something like this, the implication is that, oh, they're curing cancer or something like that. This is bullshit. Yeah. And also on top of that, yeah, just because you're doing research doesn't mean that it's a good allocation of government money.
You don't think researching how to cure cancer is a good allocation of money? If that's not a good allocation of money, what the fuck is a good allocation of money? Genuinely. I feel like all of us, and this is what I mean, where it's like, look, next week he'll be like, we need to fund cancer research. And I've always said this. It's like, dude, come on.
What if the research that you're doing is problematic? What if the research is not funded properly?
Also, look at the fact that he actually doesn't know what he's talking about. He's saying, well, what if it's possible that it was bad? I didn't look it up, and I don't actually know any of the researchers on this, and I don't know how close they were to a breakthrough. They were close, by the way. Same thing with also breast cancer. They were close to breakthroughs. I don't actually know any of this, but it might have been bad, and that's why the Trump administration did that. Like, it's like, dude, this is why Kyle called you a dumbass, because your arguments are bad. Your arguments are literally nonsensical. They make no sense because you didn't research any of this, because you didn't bother to look it up, because you don't care. You just want to believe that the Trump administration is doing everything right, because God forbid they would do something bad.
What if you're getting too much money? There are all of these questions. It's like basically doing cancer research is not an immediate and infinite get out of jail free card from any degree of accountability and any amount of government oversight. What a crazy thing to say.
That is a claim that you have to prove. You have to prove that the research was bad. You can't say the research was bad because I think so. Or the research could have been bad and that maybe is why they did it. That's not an argument. That's just, it's not. You have to say, actually, I know that exact research that was defunded. It was defunded because X, Y, and Z. The other thing about research, about like just all medical research in general, and anyone who's like a staunch capitalist should know this. This is so pathetic to be a staunch capitalist the way that Asmongold is and not understand this concept. The reason why the reason why we have patents is because R&D is so expensive. And you don't actually know if any of the research that we do into X, Y, or Z cure or vaccine or treatment will result in anything. Like you study some fucking beans and you hope for the best. You're like, I think the beans might have the secret for curing this thing. And then they don't. And then you're like, okay, well, maybe this grass has the secret for this. And then they don't. And this is why we allow companies to have patents, because they spent so much money going through so many different options to try and find something that would actually help people so they get to profit off of it. To be a staunch capitalist, to fail to understand that most scientific research requires a fuck ton of trial and error, and you can't have medical breakthroughs without having a fuck ton of trial and error, is just so, it's just so uninformed and so pathetic. I bring up beans because our understanding of genomes and our understanding of like just DNA strands, our understanding of like recessive genes versus dominant genes is because one guy really wanted to know a lot about peas and did a bunch of research on peas. And that's why. And that would have been research that Asmongold would have been like, why do we need to study peas, you idiot? It's like, because a lot of these things hold the secrets for things that are in our body. My boy Mendel, yeah. And I'm sure a bunch of people in Mendel's day and age were like, this idiot studying peas. Look at the idiot studying peas. And then we are all like, we are way better for it because that guy really wanted to study those peas. So like the idea that like you can just like look at research and know more than the actual scientists in the fucking lab coats and be like, they understand this. They understand this.
Okay, great emotional argument. We love that. It's optics? Yeah, it's just optics. It's just the way that it sounds. Because the idea of, oh my God, he's cutting research for cancer kids.
No, it sounds bad because it's bad. That's why. That's why it's bad.
That sounds bad.
By the way, there was one of those things was literally a cure that worked.
Oh.
Did you remember when I said, why didn't he fucking pre-watch this video? Oh my God. Can you imagine watching this and being like, Asmongold is epically owning Kyle. And then he fucking gets absolutely fucking rolled.
Okay. So we had a cure. Let's get this straight. We had a cure.
Also, like, the appeals to common sense is so pathetic. It's like, which this is the only line of defense he has because he refuses to do any research on any of these things. He has to say, well, that's too unreasonable, so there's no way it's true. It's like, let me guess, you also don't think Epstein is in the files because that's too unreasonable. That's just too crazy of an idea. Yeah, just like look at anything that you don't like and be like, that seems too insane, so it has to be false. It's like, excellent argument. Excellent counter argument. Do no research, just say, it has to be false because I think so.
For cancer.
Also, by the way, I like how he literally said, you use the argument no, and now you're right. And he's doing the exact same thing right now. He's saying, no, I'm right, you're wrong. I know you actually researched this and I didn't, but you're wrong because there's no way you're right. It's like, dude, come on.
We almost had it, but Donald Trump and Elon Musk turned it off. Okay, sure.
I'm not kidding. It was.
He literally just said no. His argument was just no. That's it. That was the whole argument. No. Oh my God.
It's a gene editing thing that they used to stop leukemia. They tried it on somebody.
Yes.
It worked. He cut the fucking funding.
Okay. So it worked on one person.
That's not what he said.
Which again, I'm not.
That's not what he said. That's literally not what he said. He didn't say it worked on one person. He didn't say that. You're hallucinating. He didn't say that.
Not even sure whether this is true. I don't have that. I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember this happening at all, by the way. But like, okay, so we have one person it happened on. Leukemia is cancer? Yeah, it's blood cancer.
National Weather Service, which literally led to deaths. It led to deaths. There was a late warning that went out because he cut the National Weather Service, and you have these kids at a Christian sleepaway camp who died.
Oh, fuck. Excellent rebuttal. Crazy rebuttal. Let me guess. The answer is going to be no?
Okay. I live in Texas. Let's see here. Texas Flood cut funding. Let's see if I can find it here. And let's see here. Major debate about it. Senator Ted Cruz. Where is it here? And if you look here, NWS, Texas flood warnings amidst fresh security. There's another one here. What's people scrambling? Here's what career meteorologists think about the funding, the staffing issues. Oh, here we go right here. Years of shortages. According to three former staffing shortages, national services are nothing new. So this has already been.
Do you understand something could have been happening, which is despicable under a Biden administration or an Obama administration, and it's happening more? That doesn't make what Kyle said untrue. You can't be like, well, it happened under other administrations, so here's this one search. Like, what the fuck? Oh, dude, you're so pathetic, man. This one chatter. Denims responds, let me guess. No. How about you just wait 20 seconds and then you'll actually hear my response, which I just gave you.
It was already happening, and it wasn't even a difference. So there it is. Yeah, years. This was going on.
And it wasn't even a difference. Doesn't show any evidence of this. Doesn't show any proof of this. Just says, don't worry. The shortages were already happening, so when Trump did it, it was fine, which didn't disprove what Kyle said, by the way.
On for a very, very long time. Let me see if I can find the correct one. I'm going to see if I can find the article that I remember reading about this.
Translation. Let me see if I can find one that agrees with me.
Where the fuck is it? Meteorologists say the National Weather Service did its job in Texas. Doge cut hundreds of
guys. Look, I found the one article that maybe agrees with me.
Jobs at the NWS, but experts who spoke to Wired says the agency.
Do you think he'll actually read the whole article?
State's weekend flood risk. These are meteorologists.
Let me read it.
If you don't know the NWS, but experts who spoke to Wired says the agency accurately predicted the state's weekend flood risk. These are meteorologists. If you don't know, that's a weather wizard. Those are people that understand the weather.
Dude,
Okay.
Sorry. There's something amazing to me that there are people that watch this and they're like, they don't care that he didn't actually read the article. They're like, well, he has to be right. He read the first line and he said it's a weather wizard, which means he's got to be epically based. It's like, have you considered for one moment, perchance, considered that even if they can accurately assess how bad it's going to be, it's as bad as it is because they don't have enough funding? Like the flash floods literally killed people because we didn't fund that accurately. Kristi Noem, I'm pretty sure, was under an obscene amount of heat after that. Also, this article is like, oh, do you have to like listen to it? I think you have to subscribe and listen to it. This is the article he showed. Oh my God. Doge cut hundreds of jobs, but the expert who spoke to Wired said the agency accurately predicted the state's weekend flood risk. Also, accurately predicting the flood risk doesn't mean that you saved those lives. If you're like, I'm accurately predicting that these floods will destroy like 500 homes, and then it destroys 500 homes and those people die. It's like, dude, I accurately predicted it. It's like, what does accurately predicting it do if you can't fucking help any of those people? You have to accurately predict it and then actually help those people. Also, if you actually do any of the research, they also rejected improvements that could have saved lives. Texas GOP rejected a bill improving disaster warning ahead of floods. I recall this. Also, first sentence of this article, Doge cuts contributed to Texas flood impact. Former administrator of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said on Tuesday that some people in the path of the devastating floods didn't receive urgent weather alerts because of a warning coordination meteorologist job vacancy. Look at this chatter. They're still coping. You're so pathetic. Oh, he found evidence, but it's not good enough. The evidence that he found just shows that they understood the impact of the storm. Not that they accurately had funding allocated to actually help the people that would have been in the impact zone. Guess what? It doesn't matter if people know that a tornado is going to blow your home away if you don't get a fucking warning that a tornado is going to blow your home away.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Sounds like some specific... And this is the thing, right? You give a specific example, and it falls apart.
Meals on Wheels.
You give a specific example, and it falls apart. Shows example that it does not have any evidence at all to assess his claim correctly or to build up on his claim.
Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the anti-scam police. No
Good. They weren't doing their job.
Sorry. I want to go back to
Sounds like some specific... And this is the thing, right? You give a specific example, and it falls apart.
Meals on Wheels.
Right.
He cut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the anti-scam police. No
Good. They weren't doing their job. They obviously had
just more responses that is just no. Okay, got it.
No fucking idea what they were doing. The scams have been through the fucking roof. So yeah, wow. Well, let me get this straight. Okay, so there's a bureau of people that are supposed to stop scams, and you want to keep them on payroll? They sucked.
Source: I made it the fuck up. This is the exact same thing that happens. By the way, this is why New York sucks sometimes. It's because people like Asmongold, or there are people like Asmongold that live in New York, and they're like, why the fuck are we paying sanitation workers? I never even see any trash anywhere. And then the sanitation department gets defunded. And then they're like, dude, what's with all the trash? It must be the immigrants. It's like, you are a fucking child. You are 12 years old. The reason you don't hear about these scams is because they're successfully preventing the scams. The CFPB saved people so much money. It's just like literally, it's like blanket lack of understanding. Just we cut these things, so it must have been good.
Republicans criticized any of these things. None of them. He fired 83,000 veterans. Nobody criticized it.
Oh no, you can't fire veterans anymore. Didn't you know that? We're not allowed to fire veterans. Another emotional appeal.
He fired 250.
If you're firing the veterans, this group that you pretend to care about, whenever you can, after running a campaign talking about how you're going to protect veterans and treat them right, guess what? You're not living up to your promises that you made to those people.
1,000 government workers overall. Nobody fucking criticized
Good. It should have been more.
it. When he cut USAID, cutting off malaria medication from going to people who need it, HIV medication.
Oh no, that's right. It's America's responsibility.
Oh my God. And then just blanket misunderstanding or lack of understanding about how diseases work, how viruses work, and how if you let these things run rampant, guess what? Shocker, they mutate and they come back to bite us in the ass. And every country benefits from trying to cure diseases globally. Because first of all, we might come up with better treatments and better cures and potentially even vaccines by experimenting on other people, which is already on its own fucked up. So it benefits Americans directly and it benefits them indirectly because if we can prevent diseases from mutating, we can prevent us from getting a mutated version. This happened with COVID. If we had all taken COVID seriously, it wouldn't have mutated 500 fucking times. Like they literally, yeah, what are you talking about? It's not like we live on the same planet. It's like they forget how pathogens work. It's like, well, yeah, maybe these pathogens can spread to other people and maybe even some of them might be airborne, but surely this will never bite me in the ass. Don't worry, I have a 3rd grade biology understanding. It's like, dude, come on.
To pay for people that have HIV and AIDS in Africa. That's right.
Already explained.
Yeah.
People have been dying in droves. They didn't.
Is he specifying in America or not? No, he's not. It's because it's not happening in America.
I understand that Americans are incapable of understanding anything a lot of Americans are incapable of understanding something in a lens that isn't completely selfish, but even in the most selfish way, there's a reason that we do this, which is the reasons I just explained.
He's right that USAID was funding the lives of a number of people outside of America.
People like Asmongold are so stupid. They think that we can just build a bigger wall that'll keep the pathogens out. It's like, well, we just need to get rid of these damn pathogens. We just won't let them into our country. Just build a bigger wall so the pathogens can't get in. Once the diseases come here, we'll deport them. It's like, tell me how that works out for you, okay?
True. And that's why a lot of people voted to get rid of it. It's because you have people here that are dying from lack of medical care. You have people here that don't have housing. And so why is it that we are allocating money and resources to stopping HIV and AIDS in countries that are not our own, but we're not able to keep houses? You want to talk about veterans? Why are there any homeless veterans? Where is the priority list that a veteran ever gets outranked by a person in Africa?
So you care about veterans, but not enough to care about them getting fired. Oh, okay.
I'd want to live in. I'll tell you that. That's crazy.
He doesn't have any positions. His position is just, I don't like whatever you're saying right now because you're on the opposite aisle, so I'm going to disagree with you. 2 seconds ago, he's talking about, why do I give a shit that veterans are getting fired? Now, because we're talking about other countries, why are our veterans not being taken care of? Meanwhile, we're giving money to other countries. It's like, holy shit, you just don't believe anything. You just don't believe. You believe literally nothing.
Fucking criticize it.
Of course, because I agree with it. Yeah, I agree with it. Good call. W.
Your minds, and that's just Elon. I didn't even mention Trump.
Which, by the way, and also all of these examples here that he's given are policy decisions and not actual violence. I was discussing things like Charlie Kirk and.
You gotta love the definitions of violence, where violence is the things that we don't like, but violence is never the things that you guys don't like. It's amazing. That's amazing. Wait, so we can fire veterans morally? Denims, being a veteran means you can never get laid off. You're being disingenuous. No, he's presupposing that the veterans that got fired rightfully got fired. You can't make that assumption. You can't look at something that happened and say, well, it had to be good. There's no way our government would do something bad. And then when talking about issues that impact people in other countries, you say, well, actually, we should care about our veterans here. It says you don't actually care about veterans because when you hear about them getting fired, you don't give a shit about defending them. If you gave a shit about veterans, when you find out that 80,000 veterans got fired, you'd be like, what did they get fired for? I want to do more research on this and see whether or not these veterans rightfully got fired because, they were committing some scams or they were being overpaid or whatever the fuck. Like
Jay Jones in the clip. And so he's misinterpreted what I've said. And he's even making an argument that doesn't even make sense in the context of what I said.
Saying that when you just made an argument that made no sense within the context of your previous arguments is amazing.
So not only did you get the argument wrong, but to the extent that you're making your other argument, that one's also wrong.
Trump has been bombing random dinghy fishing boats with innocent
the end all be all from Asmongold. No.
people in them.
How do you know that? You really think... What about the submarine? Was that a fishing submarine too? Do you
I didn't know America had the authority to just shoot down any submarines it finds.
really think that they're blowing up? Really think that they're fishing boats?
His response to everything is literally, you really think that the Trump administration would be corrupt? You think the guy with over 30 felonies would be corrupt? That's insane. I can't believe you would think that. It's like, what are you, fucking stupid? You just blowing from stupid. Yeah, I think the guy with a bunch of felonies is corrupt, actually. Yeah, I think the guy that did the crypto scam is corrupt, actually. Yeah, I think all the people that he appointed are corrupt, actually. And I think that they all work for him because they know that they're subject to be removed from their position the second that Trump finds someone that will be more loyal to him. Yes, I think that the Trump administration is obscenely corrupt. I think that they are uniquely corrupt, or sorry, not uniquely corrupt compared to other administrations. But I do think that they're more corrupt, more brazenly corrupt.
This is an innocent fishing submarine. Don't you guys have those? With 4 motors on them. Yeah, and by the way, so let me get this straight. So the U.S. government can read a license plate with a satellite.
And yeah, I can't believe you're calling the guy who lied 60,000 times during his first term a liar. What does the world come to?
From outer space.
I feel so bad for viewers who watch this shit and they're like, yeah, true. The U.S. government knows what it's doing. It's like, oh my God, life must be so easy for you. Life must be anything that is inconvenient, anything that's an inconvenient reality for you, you just like wave it away and say, there's no way that the Trump administration would do this. That's amazing. That's so incredible.
But you think that a Twitter post that said that the people were innocent is more accurate than that? Sure.
Not a Twitter post. There's been lots of reporting from lots of news organizations. Just no news organizations are good enough for Trumpers, unfortunately.
And nobody on the right has been criticizing it at all.
Because they agree with it. Because it's the right thing to do. It is. Absolutely. Blow up the boats. Without even a question. How could you be against that?
How could you be against blowing up random boats that we can't confirm have drugs? How could you be against that? Right.
I mean, these are people that are trying to bring drugs to our country that are going to kill our people.
You're assuming that. You're just assuming that the Trump administration is making these decisions completely rightfully, that we should live in a world that has no due process, where we don't have clear reporting out in the public that shows that everything that we're doing is totally responsible and we aren't trying to get into a fucking war with Venezuela. Like, oh my God.
If I saw somebody running at my house with a bomb, I would want to shoot them before they got to my house.
No, the equivalent would be you see someone running on the street and you're like, I think that person might have a bomb, and then you shoot them. And they weren't even carrying anything. That would be the equivalent. Turning into Alex Jones, equivalent.
I wouldn't want to try to apprehend them, arrest them, and try to put them through a whole process. No, you just fucking shoot them. And he'd do the same thing.
They've all been lying and pretending these are narco-terrorists and Trump
They're lying. Okay, where's the argument that
is
they're
killing the right people?
Sorry, I was muted. You have to be an idiot to look at someone who's a felon and a liar and be like, luckily they wouldn't lie here. In this case, they wouldn't lie. Like, you have to be the dumbest person on the planet to see a guy who lied over 60,000 times in his first presidency that has literal felonies because of lying, and then be like, thankfully he would never lie to me. Like, you are the dumbest person. Like, I have a bridge to sell you. I actually have a bridge to, like, these people, it's crazy that they still fall for it.
This is insane. This is insane.
It's insane. Okay, well, that's a good argument for why they're not narco-terrorists.
No, that's not why. You just didn't look at any of the news articles and you're just pretending like it's not happening.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the fishing submarine, it was just a bunch of, like poor innocent Venezuelans who were just trying to get by, and they only had enough money to cobble together for one submarine. And you know what they say, right? You got to fish where the fish are. And so they had to go underwater to get the fish.
No one is saying that. It could have easily have been Venezuelan intelligence. It could have been some Venezuelan like millionaires. It could have been anything. But if there's no due process, if there's no law and order, in terms of like international law, we just everyone just blows up everything because we say we think you had a bomb. Yeah, commercial submarines are a thing. It's like, it's so stupid.
Okay. So even if they were, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, it could have been research vessels. Yep.
So now we've already shifted.
No,
We've
that's not what that
already
is.
shifted.
No, that's not what that means. It's like these people can't understand arguments, so they have to pretend like these arguments don't make sense and they have to cope about it. Because people like you exist that will say, no, I know for a fact because Trump would never lie to me. Trump would literally never lie to me. I know for a fact there have to be drug lords on that vehicle, on that vessel. So they have to use arguments that maybe will make sense to your baby brain. That is, even if you want to believe, even though that's not the case and you want to believe that there are drug lords on those fucking submarines or on those boats. As an idea, maybe we should follow international law and, I don't know, not get into wars with other countries for no fucking reason and actually use policies that would reduce fentanyl deaths in this country that don't require us to spend trillions of dollars on bombs. Like, there are way better methods to do this, even if you only care about America and America only. There are like proven, tested methods that we could use to reduce fentanyl deaths to near zero in this country, but nobody cares about those because bombing the boat sounds like more fun for an American.
No, there's no way this is the case. But if it was the case, okay, here we go.
Trafficking narcotics,
Yes.
The penalty is not instant death. Are you?
Yeah, it is.
No,
And
it's
if it's
not.
not,
It's
should
not. It's
be.
This is like a stupid person's idea of good policy. By this same logic, any other country can bomb any of our boats and submarines because they think that they have drugs on them. Like, of course you think that. You're 12, bro. Of course you think that. Yeah, you're right. We should live in a country where like an American boat can be just like in a random ass fucking river. An American submarine could just be in a random ass like international waters, and then they just get fucking blown up. And their solution is, well, we think you had drugs on you.
How about that?
Are you ridiculous? Oh my.
Yeah, why not? Really, why not?
I just explained it.
Who gonna stop us? Yeah, exactly. Fuck them.
My God, we're only 24 seconds into a 2-minute clip. I don't know if I can fucking get through this.
I'm only
thing.
3 minutes into his clip. I don't know if I can get through this either.
I don't know if I might like fucking have an aneurysm on air.
Like,
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't matter that much. Who cares? And I think that has radicalized a lot of people. And
Yes.
I'll view that, and we can contrast this now. Which you remember whenever they had all those text message leaks, and it was all those young Republican people talking about how much they liked Hitler, and nobody really cared about that anymore. And the reason why, it's because left-wing people have established basically a standard, and now right-wing people are living up to it.
He flipped the truth exactly on its head.
Okay.
This is insane. It's been the exact opposite. My entire adult life, it's been the opposite. There was literally a slogan that the Democrats had about how much we're pussies. Michelle Obama came out and said, when they go low, we go high. That dominated a generation of Democratic thought.
You can see like Asmongold is finding out about this for the first time in his life. He's like, what? They had that.
Then why'd you guys burn down all the stuff in BLM? Why'd you burn down the Tesla?
Over, 97% of BLM protests were completely peaceful. The 3%, and when I say 97%, what that means is not 97% of a protest was peaceful. I mean, let's say there were 100 protests in a city. 3 of those protests became violent, and the other 97 were completely, totally peaceful for the entire duration. And guess what? That 3%, they were started by agitators. There's literally videos where you can see random people that are like, yeah, and they're like trying to topple cars. And then a bunch of people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like the actual protesters are there like, who the hell are you? Hey, who is this guy? And the violence was started by cops tear gassing random fucking civilians. It's the same thing where they like point at the Waymos and they're like, the Waymos were on fire. Guess what? I was at that fucking protest when the Waymos got lit on fire. We got tear gassed long before anyone had done anything violent. People were just yelling at the cops and saying, fuck you, like scum, whatever. That was it, using their freedom of speech. Americans, I know, love to talk about the First Amendment, except when people are actually using their First Amendment. And guess what? You can say whatever you want to fucking say as long as you're not like instigating or trying to, do an insurrection or whatever. You can say fuck these cops, fuck the pigs, whatever. You can say all of that. You can say ACAB. You can say that. That's protected free speech. And that's what they were doing. And then we got tear gas. And they never like to address this point that the violence always occurs after the cops escalate. The cops escalate, or the National Guard escalates, and then violence ensues.
That doesn't sound like going high. Maybe getting high, but not going high. So because Michelle Obama said something, now everything that Democrats do is automatically good.
That's not even remotely close to what he said. It's not even remotely close to what he said.
Why didn't I think of that?
They go low, we go high.
Yeah.
And then what happened? The Republicans decided to shatter the filibuster record under Obama. Obama literally came out and said, I'm going to propose your ideas, Republicans. I'm going to do the things you say you love. I'm going to do a healthcare plan that came from the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank, and Mitt Romney, the Republican, did it in Massachusetts as the governor. I'm going to do your plan. And Republicans had previously all supported this plan.
I think the Republicans treated Obama too harshly, too. Honestly, I generally agree with this. I think the Republicans, like, they stopped them from appointing Merrick Garland as Supreme Court Justice, which I think Obama did have the purview to do. And throughout his entire tenure as being president, that did happen. Like, I mean, he's right about this. Yeah, absolutely.
Obama proposed it. We're against it. We're against it. How dare you?
I think the ACA was bullshit. And I think that the best way to tell that the ACA was bullshit.
This chatter said, see, guys, he's a centrist. Yeah. I mean, this is like the 5th most common Asmongold-ism. You point at some random things to pretend like you are impartial and be like, I think people were mean to Obama.
That all of these different insurance companies had their fucking stock go way up after it got passed.
Oh, is that the case? Then we should never do anything that benefits the American people if it ever makes any company's stocks go up. Excellent policy design. Incredible policy design.
Obamacare was the main thing that Obamacare was caring for were the insurance companies and private healthcare companies.
I mean, I would love for you to say that to all the people that were relying on the ACA.
It was mandatory welfare for those companies. It was a joke. Now, the Republicans didn't want what I want, which is universal healthcare. They don't want that. However, what Obama did wasn't good either.
It's communist for us to do the healthcare plan that we came up with. This is who we're dealing with.
Okay.
They broke the filibuster record.
Sure.
They fucking instantly rejected their own ideas. Obama would do things like cut small business taxes, and they would attack him for it, even though, again, that's their ideas. You want to talk about radicalized. 100% is the exact opposite. Democrats and liberals and leftists have been...
no, for sure. People were negative about Obama. Yeah, definitely. I think that was stupid. It was stupid then. It's still stupid.
Radicalized by Republicans.
Again, same thing that I said before. Oh, so brave. Such a brave centrist.
It's being so fucking insane. Trump tried to coup the government. Trump lost an election to Joe Biden, and then he did fake elector slates, which was illegal, by the way, but he fucking got away with it.
Yes.
Then they had January 6th, the violence at January 6th. Even after the violence, Trump was still making phone calls saying, don't certify Joe Biden.
And this is the difference between, I think, a lot of liberals and people like me. Like leftists like this will bend over backwards to justify why it was actually a good thing that we spent an entire year burning down auto zones, looting 7-Elevens, and destroying every city during BLM.
Like I just said, 97% of the protests were completely peaceful. There was a hyper focus on the protests that were not peaceful. There were agitators at these protests that were repeatedly kicked out of these protests. Any looting that occurred at any of these protests did not have to do anything with, or sorry, not anything with, but there were to conflate any looting that occurred during this period with all of the BLM protesters is disingenuous at best. Not to mention the fact that also these cities are not gone. This idea is like Portland is burned down completely. It's every city was destroyed. It's like, dude, hello. It's like the people that are like, LA is burning. Also incorrect. So this is already like 10 things that he said is incorrect. And then also that a lot of the 3% of protests that did become violent or that did become unruly or that became riots or whatever, the vast majority of those were made violent by the cops. That the cops decided to escalate for no reason and tear gas a bunch of protesters that weren't doing anything.
They'll bend over backwards justifying why it's actually a good thing that you're destroying Teslas, or why it's a good thing that you had people that were, like Jay Jones, who's having conversations, fantasizing about killing people he's running against politically, right? The difference between, I think that myself and people like him is that I can easily say January 6th was a bad thing. It was awful.
I just know that, half his chat right now is like, what the fuck? No, it wasn't.
It's bad. The problem is that in a lot of cases.
Oh, I kind of would be curious to go see his old videos and see what he said, because I don't think in the moment he was saying that it was bad. I would gamble that.
Are unwilling to cede any ground or to look at anything objectively. They see everything through the lens of...
To talk about looking at things objectively and then saying the country was burning down when 97% of protests were peaceful is the epitome of not looking at things objectively.
What their side wants, and they're not looking at it in any sort of an objective or realistic way. Obviously, January 6th was bad. Now, I think that it was very clearly misrepresented. And if you don't think so, then, maybe the BBC should hire you as a lawyer, because they admitted that it was misrepresented and apologized for it. So very clearly it was misrepresented. But even in its best representation, it was still bad. But you don't need to come up with excuses for it. This is the problem. And that's the whole point that I'm making. That was the entire point of my clip, is that whenever Republicans, like what I was saying, do something bad, like January 6th, people like me, at least, call it out and say, hey, that was pretty bad. You shouldn't do that. I didn't see that happen with Tesla bombings. I don't see...
Tesla bombings is so funny, dude. Tesla bombings is amazing. Oh, my God.
See that happen with Jay Jones. How about that? Very interesting.
He was asking politicians not to certify Joe Biden.
Guys, very interesting. I like how first of all, the vast majority of the Tesla violence was people that I saw was people spraying swastikas on cars. And the vast majority of people that saw that shit were like, guys, Teslas have cameras. Don't do that. Don't do that. It seems kind of stupid. It's still a graffiti. It's still destruction of... I don't know if it's considered destruction of property. Oh, no, I think it'd be considered vandalism probably. Yeah. I guess it would also depend on how far the graffiti went, but I think it'd be predominantly considered as considered vandalism. So to compare January 6th, a literal insurrection, to get power back from Democrats for stealing the election, people were out there saying hang Mike Pence and brought a fucking noose. There were people literally bringing the fucking industrial grade zip ties, talking about how they wanted to find AOC. And then multiple people there died, and police officers, and these are always the blue people. Police officers were literally getting fucking shoved and trampled. To say that you're going to compare those, you're going to compare spraying a swastika on a car to violently overthrowing the government is just amazing. To be you guys did not disavow and condemn drawing a swastika on a Tesla. Which means that I'm morally superior because I think insurrection is bad. It's what the fuck are you talking about? I think that there's a big difference between spray painting on a car and bringing a fucking noose and saying, hang Mike Pence.
Biden.
Yes.
That's insane. That is insane. And so they do the extreme shit. They do the crazy shit.
To be fair, this was after 4 years of them trying to delegitimize Trump's presidency by him.
Oh, yeah. And they didn't just bring a noose. They brought the whole fucking gallows. Yeah.
Being connected to Russia. This happened even before he became president, that they were trying to delegitimize him. So I don't think that 2020, the election there, I don't think that was the culmination of election denial. I think that it started with Donald Trump. Now, I'd say 2012, when was the last election? I guess 2000 was a little bit uncertain because of the hanging Chad thing with Gore and Bush. But overall, before that, I mean, I feel like most elections, people pretty much accepted them. But I would say that even with denying the election, there was, remember the hashtag not my president, where people were saying that, oh, he's just, got elected because of Russia. So really, I mean, while I do say that January 6th was a bad thing, I don't think that, again, Republicans did not invent election denial. I think that Democrats at that point had spent 4 years doing it with Donald Trump to begin with. And it turned out that all that, by the way, was bullshit. He will not divide us. Yep, there it is.
But somehow we're the problem?
What the fuck? Okay, sorry. The conversation's about violence. The conversation is literally about violence. Did police officers get fucking beat up? Did people get trampled after Al Gore? Not to mention the fact that, like, he's misrepresenting the election in Florida with the hanging chads with Al Gore. It was incoherent. It's, like, wrong on 2 counts. I was, like, waiting for him to finish because I was like, maybe he's going to say something that's going to, like, tie it back in.
Really weird how he's celebrating ACA while also celebrating the assassination of a CEO who benefited the most from things like ACA.
I can assure you that the CEO that was allegedly killed by Luigi Mangione, that guy didn't benefit tremendously, that his corporation didn't benefit tremendously because of the ACA. They benefited because they deny a third of the claims that are requested of them.
Because here's the deal. We can only have civility and decorum if both sides agree to civility and decorum.
Oh.
It's that simple. As soon as the Republicans go, fuck you, then we have to say fuck you back. It's like with the gerrymandering fight. Okay. By the way, Asmon, who's the one that gerrymandered first? It was Texas and the Republicans that said, we're just going to gerrymander and steal
I'm so
a bunch
curious
of
what he's going to say to this.
Democratic seats and turn them Republican.
Wait, what did he say?
Gerrymandered first. It was Texas and the Republicans that said, we're just going to gerrymander and steal a bunch of
about the recent one.
Democratic seats and turn them Republican.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, wait a minute. Stealing? Gerrymander is fundamentally fucking stealing, by the way. And both Democrats and Republicans do this. They've been doing this for fucking ever.
Greg Abbott did that because Trump told him to do that. And then
there's no way.
And he should have done it. And all the other Republican states should do it too.
That had to happen.
That's amazing. That's incredible. The retort to liberals have to do this because Republicans do this is good, and we should all do a lot of gerrymandering. Not only has he completely missed the point, because the point that Kyle Klinsky is making is you either agree to civility politics and everyone does civility politics, or no one does it. And he saw that and he was like, well, then none of us should do it. Like, he's lost his own plot. He literally lost his own plot. His plot was starting at, well, then liberals should be more polite and they shouldn't be so mean. And then as soon as we give an example of like, hey, here's Republicans leading the charge, and for the first time ever, we're actually, going low when they go low, his response is, well, then I guess Republicans should do it more. It's like, do you remember the point that you were trying to make? The point you were trying to make was that everyone should tone down the violence. And now you're saying, well, everyone should be more of a douchebag. Everyone should go low. Because he's so fucking captivated by his audience, he has to just like disagree with Kyle Klinsky so that he doesn't look like a fucking idiot for more than 2 seconds at a time.
Before fucking you had Newsom step up and say, all right, if you're going to do that, then we're going to counter gerrymander in California.
Which, by the way, this is a shadow argument that he's fighting against. I never criticized Gavin Newsom for doing that. I never said that. Of course I understand why.
He never claimed that you did. He's using gerrymandering as an example to show when they go low, we should go low because it's effective. I don't know how you could possibly get lost in it's just bad faith probably. He knows his audience is too stupid to understand that that's not what Kyle was doing. Kyle was trying to draw an analogy, but he knows his audience is dumb enough that they'll eat up this garbage and they'll be like, so true, you never said that. It's like, that's not what Kyle's even fucking saying. That's not even what he's saying. Look at this chatter. Look. Everything Denim says, sorry. Denim says bad faith. Wow, that's rich. How about you put together a single sentence to explain anything that I've said that's been bad faith? How about just string together one full sentence explaining it? I would gamble that you can't. Personally, that's my opinion. But I would love to be proven wrong. How about you type a full sentence explaining to me something that I've said that's bad faith and explaining why it's bad faith?
He'd want to do that. Of course you're going to want to consolidate power for your side. Obviously. Yeah, I was never even against it. So I didn't even say that. That's not even it.
He never said that you said
Trump
that.
Didn't start that. The Democrats didn't start that. Republicans started that. We responded in kind. Democrats,
that's fine. Yeah, you guys want to do Proposition 50? That's fine. I think that's fair.
And liberals and leftists responded in kind.
Yeah.
So he has it exactly wrong. He has it
That's not even what I'm saying.
Exactly backwards. These motherfuckers are unhinged and out of control and radical. And because of that, we have been dragged into having to do the same to keep things even Stevens.
You're completely right. All of the Republican crash outs, all of the massive protests that Republicans are having, destroying, throwing bricks at people at ICE, trying to get in front of the cars, screaming at them, destroying property. Again, going back to the BLM.
Hey, idiot. What do you think happened first? People showing up at No Kings protests or the ICE agents deporting people? It's like the plot is like fucking gone. Like the plot is gone, people. The entire point that Kyle Kulinski is making is that the left should be meeting the right where they're at, and that we can't win by just folding over and just being like civility politics, civility politics, civility politics, while the right does exactly what they want. Guess what? In this example you're using, ICE was the party that aggressed first. ICE decided to go to Home Depot and randomly gather and deport people that haven't done anything wrong. And they're like, well, they got into this country illegally. Guess what? They're not even checking the papers. They grabbed an indigenous woman off the street the other day and tried to fucking throw her in an El Salvador prison. They're not even checking these people. We've already had people that are U.S. citizens who were born here get grabbed off the street by ICE and get detained for 3 days. This idea is like, well, they're rounding up the right people. No, they're not. We literally have countless evidence and countless people that have been detained that have had no right to be detained because they're U.S. citizens. U.S. citizens that were born and raised here should absolutely not be getting fucking detained by ICE. That's not how that fucking works. Showing up at fucking, you guys understand what I'm saying. Look at this chatter, show evidence. It's sad that you have not seen a single headline talking about U.S. citizens getting detained. If you look up U.S. citizen detained by ICE, a million examples will pull up. A million examples will pull up. I implore you to try it.
Riots, burning down Teslas, killing Charlie Kirk. I mean, there were 2 assassinations on Trump as well.
Guys, look, this chatter finally responded. Bad faith statement. Countless U.S. citizen grabbed by ICE. Just a complete lie. Okay, so I think you just don't know what bad faith means. Bad faith doesn't mean when someone is wrong. I'm right, actually, in this case. There have been countless U.S. citizens that have been grabbed by ICE. But that's also not what a bad faith statement is. So you're just, again, wrong on both fronts. Not only is my statement true, that's also not what a bad faith argument is. I don't think you actually know what bad faith arguments are. You should look it up. You should look up what bad faith argument is.
Or at least attempt. I mean, at what point do you really, how long can this go on for?
We're just going to ignore the fact that 2 of the people that were going to try and assassinate Trump, one of which was detained before they got a chance to, and the other one who tried, were both registered Republicans and had donated to Republicans.
Guys, how long can we just keep making up?
Look at how mad this guy is because you can't prove me wrong. Yes, it is. It's a lie. Stay stupid. Look at this guy. He's pissed. Die mad, dude. Come on. Why don't you try it? Why don't you try for once? Build an argument that makes any sense.
The ICE attacks. Yeah, exactly. What is going on with this?
Because if they're going to gerrymander, we say we're not going to do it on principle, then they just
Nobody said that. Nobody. This is the argument that I never made.
Everything, period, as far as the eye can see.
It's like these people just don't understand what analogies are. They literally, it's too difficult for them to understand. Oh my God. Well, continuing.
In a very weird way, once the other side starts cheating, in order to make it more fair, you also have to start cheating. Once they start being insane, to keep it fair, you also have to be equally insane in the opposite direction.
Okay. But let's be honest, Kyle. You guys were going to be insane no matter what. It might be convenient that Republicans do some things that are insane, but you were going to be insane anyway, all right? Let's be real.
Like, it's the only way to do it. And again,
excellent argument. You're going to be insane anyways.
He flips it and pretends like it's the Democrats who are totally unhinged, and that made the...
My favorite thing about listening to these conversations or like watching these streams is that whenever it's Asmongold's turn to make to actually build a rebuttal, he just says, no, you, or says, that's a dumb argument, or whatever. And then when someone else actually builds an argument against him, which happened on my fucking timeline, I'll share this tweet in a second. He just says this is your second tweet about me so far today. The meltdown will continue. Sorry, the meltdown will make great content for my show tomorrow. It's like no actual argument, just you're mad. Only Asmongold is allowed to say, you're mad, I don't need an argument.
Republicans radicalized. Get the fuck out of here. Also...
Well, I think if you want to talk about a policy decision that's very unhinged that makes people radicalized, I think that a good example of that is the trans in sports. So, especially also like trans kids using bathrooms. Now, you can make an argument that this isn't really a big issue, but if it's not a big issue, then why are you fighting it so much? So I think that that's
Because of the precedent that it sets. Same thing with immigration. The fact that Democrats rolled over on immigration as hard as they did meant that Trump was allowed to have ICE detain random people at fucking Home Depot, and that's why U.S. citizens are getting detained. If you fold on one issue, even if that individual issue isn't that important, you're you're opening the floodgates for them to make as many dumb decisions as they want or as many harmful decisions as they want.
a radicalization issue that does affect average people, that makes people think that Democrats are ideologues and disconnected from reality. So if you're trying to make an argument that, for example, biological men should compete with biological women in sports, especially in, high school sports or middle school sports, you're really kind of, this is, in my opinion, that argument is of the same validity of flat Earth. This is a flat Earth argument. So if a person gives an argument like that, it is so radical and so extreme and so devoid of any logic, rationality, biology, science, or even common sense, that you have to assume that this person's mental facilities are compromised.
Your understanding of biology is penis vagina. I always use this example. Your understanding of states of matter is that there are only 3. If you said that in a room of PhD, biologists, PhD holders, they would laugh you out of the room. If they were like, well, what about plasma? And you're like, that's unholy, against God's wishes. Okay, there's only 3 states of matter. You would get laughed out of the room. The idea that there's nothing higher than 3rd grade biology is actually really sad and pathetic. It's a very good example of it's a very good self-report on what they think is a good level of intelligence or a good level of education.
And you can't trust other things that they're going to say. That's the big difference. And so I think he's using examples of policy things, and the examples he used were bad. But I'll give him an example that actually does make sense, that does radicalize, I think, Republicans in a lot of cases. And I think that's a great example of it. And so that's one of the things that I think people see that, and they're like, what the fuck? This is so crazy. This is so extreme. Nobody could actually believe this. And then they go all the way. That's it.
You gotta love the idea that we can just bomb any fucking boat that we feel like bombing, and that's not an extreme idea, but people using the bathrooms they want to use that align with their gender, that's too radical of an idea. Isn't it so great that people using bathrooms is radical, but bombing fucking boats isn't? Bombing submarines, well, torpedoing submarines isn't?
I just don't see how wanting to remove people who are here illegally is the same as trying to hurt people who are just doing their job fulfilling that. Well, it's because, so you have to understand that Kyle would never want an illegal immigrant or somebody living in his house without his permission. I don't think he would want that. However, he has no problem letting people live in other areas that he's probably has nothing to do with. Kyle's a relatively successful YouTube guy. He does well for himself. I'm sure he makes a lot of money. And he probably lives in an area where there is a minimal amount of friction that's been caused by illegal migration. And he also has a job that is in no risk of being displaced by illegal migration either. So really, you have somebody who's totally disconnected from this issue.
You are totally disconnected from reality, because if you look at what farmers have said about immigration, consistently all farm owners say, please stop deporting immigrants. People are not showing up to pick these fruits and vegetables because I can only hire immigrants. And even when I've raised the minimum wage or raised the wage for people and I put it up to $15 an hour, guess what? Most fucking fat, lazy Americans don't want to go out and get fucking radishes from the ground in these extremely hot or humid conditions, working one of the most exhausting jobs you could possibly work for fucking 9-hour shifts. They have tried to hire Americans, and Americans don't want to work these jobs. So fruits and vegetables literally just sit there either in the ground or on the trees until they fall and rot. We've seen this in Georgia and I believe Alabama, where farmers keep fucking complaining that if you keep deporting people, they stop showing up. They literally don't show up, and then they can't hire Americans because Americans don't want to do the work, even if you double the fucking pay. So this idea that's you're the one who's disconnected from this and this, and it's no, dude, you're disconnected just from reality, from actual stats, from actual science. I do think one chatter got a little bit lost in the sauce. So 1 second, really quickly. Denims, you're wrong on this. You should probably look up the definition of countless. Didn't say it wasn't hyperbole. Chatter was right about what countless means. Denims is always saying how we should point out when she's made a mistake, and she was literally wrong on the literal meaning of countless. I'm perplexed as to what she thinks it means. Looked it up, checked before I posted to make sure I wasn't mistaken. So I don't know if you know this, if you read the article or if you have any idea about like how the US government tracks this information. We literally don't have an accurate count. It's too many to count, and we just have to go based on what people have reported. And again, if you read the article, you'll know that I'm using the term countless accurately because the article literally says the government doesn't track how many citizens are being held by immigration agents. We found more than 170 cases this year where citizens were detained at raids and protests. It's not that there is no count. It's not that we don't have a guess. It's that we literally can't count this number. We literally can't because we don't track this information. So we have to go on based on what people are telling us. Like, oh, this person said that they wanted to report this. They wanted to report that. They wanted to report this. 170 is the floor on like minimum. This is how many we know for sure have gotten detained. But it's currently a number that cannot be counted. It's from at least 170 plus.
That is telling other people that they should necessarily, they should deal with it, right? And so this is the person you're watching, by the way. Who is this? This land is by the Colorado border plain. It's pretty cool. I have no idea why it looks like this. It's called farming.
This dude, I can't believe people say that like I have a fake laugh when this guy has like one of the worst fake laughs I've ever seen. He's faking a reaction because he didn't understand the picture either. I like how this tweet can mean a variety of things. It can mean like, why do they specifically have like this particular grid format? Like, why does it look this way? Why does it look that way? It's like,
wow. Can you believe that? Oh, God.
This is my other favorite thing where it's like, well, you didn't know. Let's say Kyle Kulinski didn't know what farming land looked like and why they took the shapes that they did. Does that make his like stats incorrect suddenly? If his statistics are still correct, they're like employers, like farm employers cannot find people to do these jobs. And so immigration is hurting our ability to produce groceries at a cheap price. It doesn't matter whether or not you know what a fucking farm looks like. It's like such bottom of the barrel, like garbage. It's like the third grade biology argument again. It's like, well, I've seen this and that's it. It's like, oh.
Yeah, this is the guy. Yep, there he is. Oh, geez. What a guy, huh? How about that? Delete your account. Yeah. So I hope he's farming now. Maybe he's learned.
Seem like, Republicans are put upon to have to condemn a Republican group chat where they were like loving.
Great example, by the way, Cheddar. You don't need to know anything about assault rifle or not. You don't need to know about assault rifles to know that they're killing our kids. This is like the argument that like if you showed someone like an assault rifle and not an assault rifle, or like what's the gun that's most famous for like people love to villainize the gun and people get really mad when you villainize it? AR-15. If you looked at a gun and you incorrectly clocked it as an AR-15 and it was actually something else, it wasn't an AR-15. Imagine being like, you didn't know that that's not an AR-15. It's like, that doesn't magically change gun violence stats. Whether or not you know how to like take apart an AR-15 doesn't mean that you like has nothing to do with gun violence stats and how to end gun violence. It's just like bottom of the barrel garbage.
Hitler. Like that should be easy. That should be a low fucking bar, bro.
Yeah, not as low as wanting to, have the kids of people that you disagree with politically be killed. I think loving Hitler is bad. Absolutely, it's bad. But if you're not willing to condemn somebody who fantasizes about having the children of his political opponents killed, then how can you expect anybody else to capitulate to what you want? I mean, what are we doing here? It's a joke, yeah. And also, all of those people, here's what's funny about it, is that all of those people from that group were removed. They were removed from that, I think it was like a Young Republican Society or something like that. They were all removed. So for a joke, they got removed. For telling the truth in private, Jay Jones got elected to Attorney General. Well, I think that we have a problem here.
But to them, it's not.
You have all these conservatives that are saying...
When did he defend Jay Jones?
Well, that's the main person I'm talking about, right? And it was in the context of that. This crazy stuff, and yes, there's never a point of moral authority that any liberal can have when you're the one justifying shutting down a college, or you're the one.
The ironic part is that Jones was making the argument that Asmon makes all the time, which is that people need to experience consequences. to change their mind. Well, it's woke when someone else does it, but it's based when he does it.
On justifying being violent to an officer, or
You're confused. I'm talking about the like whenever the pro-Palestine protesters came to like places like UCLA and they were violent towards other people that were trying to just do their work. They blocked access to certain buildings. They destroyed property, and they didn't follow police orders. That was. I know we might be confused by that, but that's what I was discussing.
the one justifying, destroying property, somebody's car, something like that. They all got blacklisted and fired from their jobs. Yes, but I understand.
He's confused when he didn't even speak it. Yep.
Understand that structurally, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened to them. What matters is how the public perceives it. And I think that this is continuing to become the case. I think that any conservative at this point should totally stop purity testing, because left-wing people don't purity test themselves. And if
he's so mad. Okay, all right, let's hear it. Okay, here we go.
Oh my
I
God.
do fundamentally, I'm starting to believe like the conservative male is fundamentally incapable of understanding emotions beyond anger and sometimes happiness. It's just like anytime anyone expresses any emotion at all, it's like, or doesn't express an emotion, it must be that you're mad.
Let's go.
The extent to which this guy has no fucking idea what he's talking about, it's like he
Okay, I get it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. I'm a big stupid. Okay, let's hear why.
got into politics 7 seconds ago.
Okay.
Like literally just 7 seconds ago, he was like, politics, what's that? I have opinions on it.
Great.
What
Let's
is
hear
this?
yours.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. That's the thing that gets me is
Well, here's what I think is very interesting. Even using his own argumentation, doesn't that make him look kind of stupid? Is that even from somebody who's been involved in politics for 17 seconds, even they can tell that there's obviously a massive discrepancy here. There's obviously...
That doesn't work if you're wrong. If anyone knows, and I said this the last time we watched this video when we were watching the Kyle Klinsky video, that the problem with the argument that he's making is that he literally contradicted himself 2 weeks ago when he was talking about like all of the FaZe clan people and like Vanilla Mace and Fan and Q Cinderella, and he literally said the problem with the left is the purity testing, where you're so captured by your audience that now you have to apologize because a guy makes a homophobic joke. That's the problem with the left. It's all the purity testing. And now there's no purity testing. There's not enough purity testing, and the left never does it. It's like you are literally contradicting yourself and just using whatever argument you want to use in that moment that will make you correct.
a huge double standard that's at play, and I think the whole country can see it. So maybe you're too involved. Maybe you're in too deep, and you're not able to just see the reality of it. Some of your chatter's calling you wrong. Yeah. Well, maybe this is where they learned it from. He also commented on Jay Jones, immediately dismissing it.
it was about mass shootings and it was about his opponent's kids. It was like the only way they'd understand the pain of that is if their kids got killed, right? Basically saying like, you're not...
That's not what he said.
Typical Republican, you're not going to support legislation to, change everybody's reality when it comes to gun violence unless and until it impacts you. So Republicans lied about that and pretended like he wants to murder the kid of his opponent. That's bullshit. Everybody knows that's bullshit. But that's what they ran with. And the texts were so bad that people thought, oh, this will be a layup for Republicans. Wrong. So the betting markets had the Republican favorite to win for so fucking long. And literally just last night as the results started rolling in, boom, it flipped. And then Jay Jones ended up winning. That really...
Well, I guess that sure proves me wrong. Wow. Yeah, that's totally not what I was talking about at all, right, guys? Yeah, we saw the text messages.
Is this a strat? You just look at something that proves you wrong and then say sarcastically, I guess that proves me wrong? That's it? That's it. Okay. Of course.
I know he knows. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
You allow other people to create the
By the way, just total aside about how I don't know what I'm talking about at all. Literally no examples, no reason for saying this, just that I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess either my chatters learned it from him or...
I like how he's like building arguments and then he just ignores the arguments and says, you didn't make an argument. That's it. That's the whole video. The whole video is just, I'm going to ignore your argument and say that you didn't make an argument.
Or he learned it from my chatters. Doesn't even address what I said. No, he doesn't even address it.
for you. All you're doing is you're allowing your enemy to define how you lose. And basically, you can see how they had no problem voting for Jay Jones, right? This is a guy that like fantasized about killing, his political opponent's children.
He wasn't. If that's a fucking lie, you're lying. You're lying.
So if you refer over here to the text messages, so these are the leaked text messages that Jay Jones had. If those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals and piss on their graves. Send them out awash in something. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets in the head. So not only is he talking, and this is also multiple, because they are those guys. This is plural, right? So he's talking about multiple people.
I just want to say really quickly, the double standard is so funny because what's the name of that one? I think she's Hispanic. And I think she's a representative, and she's done a million videos of her like black bagging some random dummy and then shooting it in the head. Do you guys know the one I'm talking about? I'm just blanking on her name. She also has like some videos, I think, of her like saying the F slur for some bizarre reason. The weird gun, that one. She's a state rep. Okay, state rep. I apologize, state rep. Valentina Gomez. For you to look at like text messages that were leaked where this person is making a joke and then say none of the Democrats want to condemn this and then just completely, totally ignore Valentina Gomez doing this shit.
It's that simple. Public executions for any illegal that rapes or kills an American. They don't deserve deportation. They deserve to be ended.
To talk about the fact that the left is the only group that's like creating a culture of violence. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene just got needled hardcore and no one condemned her. No one condemned her. But you're going to take that and you're going to compare it to a text message someone made in private that got leaked and be like, can you believe this? Can you believe that this person made a joke in private versus this person who publicly agreed with like executions of X, Y, and Z, who made fun of, what is it called? The Hortmans attack, who made fun of Paul Pelosi, who made fun of, like, it's so obscene. It's so obscene that you have the audacity to be like, Jay Jones, and then just ignore all these other people that Republicans would literally never condemn.
And then I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. And I've told you this before. You were talking about how, so right here, you were talking about hoping that Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. No problem voting for Jay Jones, right? This is a guy that like fantasized about killing, his political opponent's children.
He wasn't. That's a fucking lie.
Do you know who disagrees with Kyle? Jay Jones. Jay Jones disagrees with you. He says, yes, I've told you this before. Guys, don't listen to Jay Jones about what Jay Jones said. No. Listen to me, and I'm going to tell you what he really meant to say. This is the text message. It's right here. Oh, wait. I'll go even farther here. And then so there isn't a point blank. I'm questioning, do I think that Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? And this is Todd and Jennifer again. There it is again. Breeding little fascists. Yes.
Saying
and this is him talking about
someone is breeding a little fascist is violence, I guess.
You were hoping that their children would die. You tripled down. Yeah, exactly. Guys.
Excuse you. He said you were hopping. All right. And again, if you can't tell the difference between someone saying statements in private to another person that's leaked versus someone who's making public statements about how happy they are that like, or how many jokes that they can crack about the Hortmans publicly, that senators and Republican Congress people are making jokes publicly about Paul Pelosi. And Republicans don't have to disavow that. They don't have to condemn that. But Democrats have to condemn private messages. And that's a fair, valid way to show that Democrats love violence. Okay. All right. Yeah. But denims, what about the Baileys? Exactly. Yep. Also, hoping someone perishes, fantasizing about killing them are not the same either. Still a stupid thing to say, even in private. I disagree. I think that's ridiculous fucking purity testing. I think you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want personally in private. If all you're saying is I hope they die in private, you're not saying I agree with this, you're not encouraging the violence, you're not telling anyone else to commit violence, because the problem with talking about violence publicly is that you're encouraging the violence. That's the problem. You talking to your buddy and being like, God, this fucking piece of shit should die. Which, by the way, Asmongold has defended this. He's literally said, I hope you die about, was it Crazy Slick or Slicker? And then Asmongold fans have defended him saying, I hope you die, because then they said, well, he didn't say that I hope you get murdered. He just said, I hope you die. And he said that publicly. Which one is it? Is it that you can't say you hope people die or that you can say you hope people die? But it's just jokes when Asmon does it publicly to his audience of thousands, of tens of thousands. But when this guy does it privately to one person, it's like, oh, dude, this is pathetic. This is kind of pathetic. Asmon can't really complain about it. He has some pretty dumb takes. The problem that I have with the point that you're making, Alphon, is that you're accepting all of these presuppositions from Asmongold and not actually pointing out any of his hypocrisy and recognizing that he's just trying to like point at anything that can be considered a political gain for Republicans. That there's no attempt on your part to criticize any of the negative behavior. You're only pointing at the stuff that is that you want to conveniently point out, which is sad. Asmon said trans activists should burn. It's just pathetic. Still permaban in his chat. They only burn books because they were written in Jewish. That's still by far the craziest. That's one of the craziest messages. That's still one of the craziest messages. Sorry, I just saw this message. I wanted to respond to this. So you agree the definition of countless is too many to count. I agree. I wasn't disputing the hyperbole. I was discussing the article or her use of the word. I was disputing ridiculing someone for not knowing what a word means when they gave the correct definition. Now I feel gaslit. Also, Google can suck my Oxford dictionary. Can't believe anyone's still going about this. I'll make it really clear, okay? I will give you your dissertation. First of all, if you actually look at the definition, there are two definitions. The first definition is very many, that there are a lot of something. By that definition, 170 U.S. citizens being detained is a lot. That's too many. That's already way too many. When someone says too many to count, they mean that there are too many that have happened to begin with. But even if you wanted to pretend like the only definition was literally too many to count, which doesn't even make any sense because you can count to any number that isn't, there's no number that's too high that you literally can't count to it. Counting is not hard. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you just keep going. Like the idea that it's just too high to count to it. There's no number that's too high to count to. That literally we already have a word for that. That means infinite. Infinite is too many. Innumerable. Too many to count means it's happened too many times. But even if you want to pretend like too many to count means, or countless means, that we don't have an accurate count, what I said was still accurate. Do you understand? That even if you think we can't have an accurate tally, even if you want to believe that the definition of that is we can't have an accurate tally, there's too many of this is happening too often. That's correct given this article. That's literally correct given this article. But that's also not what that means. And people use countless to describe something that's happened 5 times. It's just like, I don't understand. There's like this, I know what people are thinking. Still not uncounted is called uncounted. Not if we literally don't count it. Not if we don't have a way to count it. Not if our way of counting it is only if people come to us. I know people are thinking, why are you focused on this? Because this guy's been around since February 19th, 2025, and he's probably sent a bunch of messages that have pissed me off. And I got to keep people around that are funny, not people who are annoying. And I got to weed out the annoying behavior. I need to show everyone this is annoying behavior. I will not allow people in this community to be annoying. I can fix you about chat. Talking about chat, I can fix her. I can fix him. I will not allow chatters to be annoying. You must be funny here. Okay? You must be funny to be here. You can't be one of the pedantic Andys that's like, well, technically this means this. And then you're conveniently also like ignoring the fact that the definition literally says very many or too many to be counted. And too many to be counted, what does that mean? It doesn't mean you literally can't count to it. It means it's happening too often. That's what that means. You think I've heard it played countless times on the radio. Do you think that that person is talking about the fact that they haven't personally counted it, that it's too impossible to count because it's played more times than they can count? No, it's that they didn't count it. Like if you've heard fucking that one song, is it by Bruno Mars? The I'm gonna marry her anyway, marry that. You know the one. I've heard that countless times. What does that mean there? It means you've heard it more than like 5. If you've heard it more than 5 times, you've heard it countless times and you've heard it too many times. But it's like, this is so insanely pedantic. It's like, I don't even know why you're fighting me on this when I'm literally right on this. Out of all the things that you could be wrong about, or that I could be wrong about, this is not it. I was also annoyed by the situation, but I let it slide. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, sometimes people will be like, well, why are you doing this? Stop doing this. You just don't need to do this. It's like, no, I need to, because we have to weed these people out, okay? And I won't allow any of you to do this. I won't. All right. I don't know if this chatter will respond or not, but I got through the point that I wanted. Oh my God, dude. Ugh. Given the fact that every single thing that Kyle Kulinski said is ignored by Asmongold, and then he literally just says, that's not true. No, I disagree. You're not making an argument after he makes an argument. I think that's about as much as I can get through. If he was willing to actually address more than half of a point, I think I could get through a little bit more, but it's so brutal. Just debate him, bro. If you're so right about everything, just to fucking debate him. I love when he pulled up the article and he was like, meteorologists correctly were able to accurately predict the weather. It's like, well, did people get saved via their accurate predictions, or was the region underfunded so those people fucking died? It's like, oh, please. The debate would be so funny. No, dude, you would totally own Kyle. You should totally do it. Ah, ha, ha, ha. You should do it. You would be so good at it. Ah, ha, 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 ha. No, man, weather wizards. Oh, my God. What did Kyle actually say about Asmon? Seemed to me he was just name dropping for the clip's unexpected response. By that logic, do you think that's the only thing Asmongold does too? Maybe he just wanted to body him and show everyone how much of an idiot he is. But let me pull this up one sec. This was really funny. It's like the shadow that said that. It's just like, it's very funny that like other people can make a full argument, and then when it's Asmongold's turn to make an argument, he just doesn't make one. And then he just says, LOL, you're dumb. Keep going, idiot. It's like, dude, aren't you the one that's complaining about it? Kyle made this tweet. Trump illegally bombs Yemen, Somalia, Iran, plots regime change in Venezuela, attacks 22 fishing boats, killing 83 people, threatens Greenland, Panama, and Mexico, says he wants to reinvade Afghanistan, all while building concentration camps and ending due process. Asmongold. The left are violent terrorists. And what I'm sure you guys are thinking, what did Asmongold say? What was the epic own? What was the total destruction of complete arguments? This is your second tweet so far about me today. Keep it up. This meltdown will make great content for my show tomorrow. No argument. Nothing to say. Nothing to say. Community notes trying their hardest to still defend the fucking boat strikes. Oh no, and then the community note got taken down because it was wrong. No, not the Roach fans desperately trying to put a community note, but the community note wasn't good enough. Oh, dude. Nothing to say, no comment. Ah, dude. That's tough. That is tough. That's tough. All right. You think Asmon will go full Nazi after the collapse of MAGA? Like what? Like I think he'll attach himself to like Nick Fuentes. I think that's reasonable. I think he'll attach himself to like full-blown Nazis like Nick Fuentes. And if you don't think Nick Fuentes is a Nazi, you're too far gone. You're actually totally fried and totally cooked. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. All right. But I did want to show all of you guys this. Yeah, sometimes the mold segments are fun because at least like he'll make some jokes, but this one was just like so like, I mean, he just didn't have any arguments to what Kyle Kulinski was saying. He just wasn't right about anything. He didn't have any good arguments. He pulls up like one article that doesn't even say what he thinks it says. It's like, damn, that's brutal. Losing his touch. Mold got lazy. Dude, for real. Straight up, man.